I just bought a been-there-done-that quarter horse gelding to be a pasture mate for a mare. He bonded with her immediately and now won't let her owner give her treats. He bites the mare's butt so she will move on. When we take her or him out of the pasture alone, he gets very upset. I can't even get a bridle on him. I tied him up and he broke loose and took off running. We can put them in separate pastures, but they can still sniff across the fence line. Any suggestions on what we can do? It seems to be getting worse after 10 days of his arrival. I fear it could become dangerous. The mare's owner is a 13-year-old girl.
Shelly, it sounds like you kind of got yourself into a bit of a predicament here with your gelding. So, horses are herd animals. They naturally feel safe with one another. They're naturally drawn to each other. Another way of saying that is they naturally have magnets to one another. So what's going on with your gelding is perfectly normal, okay? Especially when there's just two horses like this. It's not uncommon at all. He's got to be buddies with somebody. You get what I'm saying? And you gave him one option and he jumped right on top of it. So that's not all that surprising. Now, what do we do about this? Do you have to separate them? No, you don't have to separate them. Would it do you a lot of good if you separated them and you put them in separate pens? I suppose if the girl who owns the other horse wants to just walk out there and be able to feed her treats and stuff like that without being harassed by the other gelding, yes, it would make it easier if you just separate them and put them in separate pens. Are they still going to whinny and call out and the rest of that stuff? Yes. Okay, and that's kind of what I want to get to next. The whinnying and calling out's totally normal. So here's what I want you to think. How do I make the right thing easy and the wrong thing difficult in this scenario? So he wants to be with this other mare. He wants to be with his pasture buddy, and he doesn't. He gets nervous, he calls out, he has a big old fit when you take him away. So you flip-flop that. How do we pressure him with his buddy? How do we make him uncomfortable for doing what he wants to do? And how do you make him comfortable when you take him away from his buddy? So to do that, we've got to have some kind of groundwork control over your horse. I would say basics. At the bare minimum, we need to at least be able to do lunging for a spec stage 1. So what I would do, if the reality of it is this: you do a good job with your fundamentals and your horse is very respectful of you and your tools, this problem's going to go away pretty much without working on it. Because when you say it's time to go, you may want to be there, but he's not going to be disrespectful enough to try to take off and drag you back to the pasture. That's kind of getting on the end of ridiculous at this point. But just in general, I want to kind of give you theoretically here, this is what needs to go on. So if you take, let's just say, for example, you take him out of the pen. You leave her in the pasture, you take him right outside the pasture. As soon as he starts having a fit, I want you to immediately go lunge him around right there at the gate. Go lunge him around, lunge him for spec stage 1, lunge him for spec stage 2, make him hustle, make him canter, make him change directions, a lot of change in directions and pressuring him right at the gate. Leave the mare literally right beside the gate. And then I'm going to, after 4 or 5 minutes, I'm going to keep kind of lunging him away, and I'm going to start kind of spiraling my way away from that pasture. So that might be 50, 60 feet away. And then I'm going to yield his hindquarters, get 2 eyes, and I'm just going to let him sit there. Don't pet him. Don't desensitize him. Don't do anything. Just literally let him sit there. What we're trying to do is we're trying to say, when you leave your buddy and you stop having a fit, we're going to leave you alone. Isn't it nice to be over here? Where I want to be is where you get to rest. It's where you get your air back. It's where there's no pressure. And every time you drag me to where you want to be, I pressure you over there. It's hustle, it's work, it's burning calories, okay? It's sweat. So what's going to happen is you're going to let him stop there for 10 seconds, and he's going to immediately oh my God, I'm 50 feet away from my pasture buddy. I've got to get going. I've got to get back over here. So do you let him? Absolutely. Start lunging him, immediately work your way back up to that pasture gate and go lunge him around at that gate again. Pressure, pressure, pressure. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Hustle, hustle, hustle. Do that for another 4 or 5 minutes, then take him back out, 60 feet away. Stand there and let him rest. And you're going to do that until when you let him rest there, I literally want him looking at his pasture buddy like, forget you, okay? You're no fun anyway. Every time I even get anywhere near you, it's burning calories, it's hustling, it's losing weight. You're trying to get him to associate this is a good deal, this is a bad deal, okay? So, couple of things. Number one, you're not going to force him to get away. You're going to offer it to him. I didn't say you couldn't be with your pasture buddy, but just call it what it is. I'm just going to make it suck. I'm just going to make it uncomfortable. I'm going to pressure you near your pasture buddy until you just don't want it anymore. This isn't going to be my idea. This is going to be your idea. And that's the key to this working. So to do that, you have to have some baseline control of the horse to do that. I'm calling out names from the fundamentals, lunge for respect stage 1, lunge for respect stage 2. These are exercises that are all found in the fundamentals kit. You got to have some kind of baseline control. You could do the same thing under saddle. You could trot or lope circles right there at the gate and pressure him and roll him back into the gate and go up and down the fence. Your situation's going to dictate a lot. You know what I mean? If this was in a barn alley on concrete or something like that, obviously that's not going to be an option. You need to take the mare somewhere where there's an outside pen where it's safe. And they don't want to, you've got some room to actually get something done safely, okay? So I don't know your exact situation, but I'm giving you some hypotheticals. You might have to get a little creative about how you do this. But you do the exact same thing with him under saddle. And you ride him away 50 feet, stand there, rub on him, let him rest, let him get his air back. As soon as he nickers and walks off, like, okay, listen, I've had enough. I miss you so much. I got to come back. You let him march himself right over there, and then you go put his feet back to work again. And you do that until he starts to do what we call take the bait. Take the bait is, you know what? I like this option A a lot. I like this standing still, getting my air back, being left alone. I like this an awful lot. You know what? Maybe we should try this all the time. Then the key is do that every day for a week. By the end of that week, when you go to lead him away, it's good riddance. I don't want nothing to do with you anyway. I hope I never see you again. Okay? So this, this remedy, it's going to take some work. It takes some, it might take some creativity depending on your facility and kind of what options you've got. But that's exactly what I would do. Think of it a little like this. Kind of make a little game out of it. Just turn a negative into a positive. Don't let it aggravate you. Let it say, okay, how do I make this uncomfortable? How do I make what I want to do be the best part of his day? You keep following that right there, you'll get rid of this no problem whatsoever. I hope that helps you out.
Take your horsemanship to the next level. The No Worries Club Premium membership is your ultimate portal to complete your horse training. You'll have access to Clinton's complete training library, thousands of hours of step-by-step instructional videos. You'll master all aspects of horsemanship, from fundamentals to trick training. You'll have access to our exclusive social network that connects you with thousands of dedicated horsemen from around the world. You'll have the method available wherever you are and accessible through the web, your phone and tablets, or your favorite streaming devices. You'll receive 8 all-new training videos per year and the quarterly No Worries Journal, as well as access to the ever-growing video library, Q&As, performance horse series, blogs, and more. But that's not all. You also get free tickets to walkabout tours and priority access to the latest news coming from Down Under Horsemanship, not to mention VIP pricing on all of Clinton's must-have training tools. So what are you waiting for? Unlock the ultimate access and jumpstart your training program today.